Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the Excellency, Director of Muhammadiyah University of Purwokerto, to the Honorable all of the Committee of ICONESS 2023, and to the Honorable all of the participants in this international conference. Introducing ourselves, I am Mohammed Suhamun Ape, and the chief of this research is Dr. Sulthon MAG from IAIN Kudus. We are going to talk about the analysis of the juvenile delinquency trigger factor and the handling effort. Alright, so to begin with, we are going to talk about the introduction. As we know that during the years of 15 to 21, the youngsters, they tend to do some behavior that deviates the moderately, and that's that we call the juvenile delinquency, because their feeling and emotion fluctuate like a hurricane. Well, juvenile delinquency is the biggest problem that must be faced in order to prepare the next generation. Because as we know that our country needs a good human resources in order to advance our country. But from the fact, the case of juvenile delinquency is always keep rising. So the aim of this paper is the firstly is to identify and analyze the factors that influence juvenile delinquency, and second one is to find out the effort to overcome juvenile delinquency by strengthening self-perception, self-concept, and self-efficacy. So, talking about the methodology of this research, we are doing the research based on the literature research. So, there are numerous of the research, there are numerous of paper that we are researching, that we are observing, and from there the data are taken. So, based on the result and discussion, there are 5 points that we are going to talk about. The first one is juvenile delinquency that we already described earlier. And according to Cartono, the cause of the emerge of the juvenile delinquency, firstly, is children are not cared or lack of love from their parent. Secondly, their material and non-material needs are not met. Their will and aspiration cannot be satisfied. And thirdly, the children are not given physical and mental skill in lifestyle. Let's start discipline and self-control. The second point is the self-perception. As we know that in the self-perception, this one is how the teenager they see this world. Okay, so in order to change their world, so they have to change their perception to be a good one. Because yes, the self-perception will give a good behavior, because perception is act of receiving, selecting, managing, interpreting, measuring, and responding to sensory stimuli. So basically it's like how they are acting to the world. Next, the point of three, the third point, it's about the self-concept. So the self-concept as a whole self-image about someone, which consists of physical, social, and psychological. And self-concept consists of two aspects, which is a description of someone, and the self-esteem, which is a self-assessment. So how someone is looking at themselves. The fourth point here is individual with a high self-efficacy. Well, this is a self-efficacy. Believe that they can do something to exchange the circumstance around them. Try harder to overcome existing challenge. Therefore, self-efficacy has significant impact on the result. Changes in juvenile delinquency for the better can be done by strengthening the self-efficacy of adolescents who experience juvenile delinquency. The last point from the result and discussion is the self-strengthening as an effort to overcome the emerge of juvenile delinquency. Yes, as we know that everyone grows up from the children to the teenager and later on to the mature. Okay, they will experience the what we call it, the turbulence of the emotion that makes them become unstable, and they will tend to do like negative behavior. And it can be seen by self-reinforcement, both self-perception that leads to negative self-concept being transformed into positive self-perception. Okay, while self-efficacy is a belief about one's ability to avoid negative behavior, the self confidence reassurance so that negative behavior will change with the belief that he is capable. This one, if the teenager are directed into a positive activities, for example, like a sport or the youth activity on their village, on their community, at school, so this self-strengthening uh, will avoid them from emerging the juvenile delinquency. And then the conclusion of our topic is, yes, the triggering factor for juvenile delinquency are, there are two. First one is internal factors, namely identity crisis, weak self-control, and lack of discipline. As we know that where they cannot find themselves, so basically like they are trying to search into the wrong place. So this one is identity crisis. Let's say the teenager are falling into the bad community, so they also have the weak self-control and lack of discipline, and that juvenile delinquency, for example, like playing truant, fighting, brawling, watching porn videos, and even murdering and other crime because of those. However, not also from the internal factor, there are also the external factor from outside, which is lack of attention and affection from parents, low knowledge of religions. Okay, so every religion will avoid the embracer, the people to do such delinquency. Social environment and children peer are not taught physical and non-physical normal life skill. Well, control efforts are to strengthen self-perception with adolescent understanding, self-concept through self-maturity in thinking and acting, and self-efficacy by strengthening someone through positive behavior. Okay, well, so it's like how we direct those teenagers into a better one, into a better maturity process by giving them like a good thinking, the acting, the self-efficacy, and that's it, by strengthening the positive behavior. Well, just like light and dark, when the light is brighter, then the dark is gone. However, when the light is dimmer, the darkness comes by. So that's it, our topic that we are discussing in our paper, and thank you very much for listening to us, and hopefully it will be useful for everyone. And that's it. Wabillahi taufiq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.